Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's Friday. I think it's November the 6th. Here we are. I think it's 3 days now since the election, and I know there is much turmoil out there. There's a lot of people out there that are really feeling panicked and overwhelmed by what's going on. And so I just want to invite us and remind us that just bring it all back to the present moment, right here, right now, in this space, and stay focused on your vision, stay focused on what it is that you came here to do, and bring that inner peace into the moment. And of course, hold the light for what it is that you want to achieve. So it's an honor and a pleasure to, again, facilitate this show today with the stories of hope. Before we go into that, I want to first thank all of our amazing sponsors for the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We recently had, we just created this graphic, and we want to invite you, the public, for those of you that want to support the show anonymously, you can do so right there on the link that you see. And we're also going to put a link in the description of the video so that you can check it out later and get it there. For those people that want to contribute and have their brand mentioned on this show, you can contact me privately, and I'd be happy to do that at radio@korneliastephanie.com. So, and I also want to give so much gratitude, so much thank you to all of those people that are subscribing to the YouTube channel, Kornelia Stephanie YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. It helps us to bring content, what you're going to hear today, to bring these people, these amazing storytellers, these people that have, overcome incredible odds in their lives, right? And they're here today to share this story with you, so that maybe that something that you hear today is going to change your life, it's going to save your life, and it's going to help you. And that's the goal for this show. So, without any further ado, let me welcome our first guest, Hannah Velton. She's an entrepreneur. She's a grief healer, a writer, and a speaker. Welcome to the show today, Hannah.
Thank you, Kornelia. It's been lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful that you're here. Before we got started today, I asked you in the green room, what is your vision for the show? What is your vision? What is it that you want to experience? And would you mind repeating what it is that you said?
Yeah, very gladly. I just would like to reach out to, the story that I'm going to tell. If it resonates with anybody, just know that I was in the deepest grief, seemingly unhealable grief, 5 years ago. And if I can touch somebody with the story, just to show that it is possible to heal these griefs.
Take us to the 5 years ago when you were in that deep, dark state, and what happened?
Okay, so the story really starts in 2003 when my brother, Christian Velton, he went on a solo expedition to Africa, to West Africa, and he was traveling solo in the footsteps of a Scottish explorer called Mungo Park, and he was retracing his steps, the bicentenary of Mungo's trip. And to cut a long story short, he disappeared in Mali, just outside Bamako, the capital. And after about 2.5 years of searching for him, we had, private searches, we had police searches, we had every kind of search that you could think of. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. And I was completely stuck in grief. I didn't know, when you have a missing person, you have ambiguous loss. And as time went on, it became complicated grief disorder. I mean, I was never went to a counsellor, never had anything. And being the sibling as well, you're, the focus is very much on the parents. And like as a sibling, I had no one really to talk to vent my grief, and I went into denial. I completely shut down, and that was how it went for about 12 years. I had my family, so Christian never met my husband, he's never met my children, and then I guess we're talking about 5 years ago, 2015, I started to kind of have a hope that he was still alive. I couldn't explain. I mean, I've got chills now. I had what is a spiritual awakening. I started to feel things around me. I mean, I was never spiritual. I was never, I was a writer. I didn't know what was happening. I was starting to feel things in my body, like warmth, and I started to hear sort of things in my head, and I thought I was going mad. And yeah, I started to think, and I was actually a writer in residence for a funeral company at the time, and I had to confront Christian's disappearance. We're now talking 13 years he'd been missing. So I had, 12 years. So I had to really think, what am I going to do with this grief? I knew it was there, but I just sort of was trying to keep it down all the time. And of course, the more you keep grief down and unresolved grief, it comes out in really bad ways. So yeah, I started to think about how we were going to move on from Christian, and how we were going to just deal with it as a family. It was just me and my parents at that point. And I decided to have a 40th birthday party for him. It was his birthday coming up, and I thought it would be nice to have all friends and family and to kind of have a celebration of his life. And in the sort of days coming up to the party, I started having this vision of us all standing in a circle, holding hands, listening to Lenny Kravitz's song Let Love Rule. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go with this because let's just do this. So at the party we did this, and looking back now, I can see that was the start of me kind of calling Christian in, and it was like a rite of passage, I guess. It was like a ritual of some description. And then a couple of weeks later, I started having lucid dreams about him, and that he was still alive, and he was trying to get home, but he was ill. And I mean, to cut a very long story short, we thought, Christian and I really connected over the course of about 6 months, where we thought we were really speaking to each other sort of telepathically. I mean, we were kind of soulmates anyway, because we were grown up together on a farm, so we were always together. And we really thought we were connected, and that he was going to come home, and we were just sort of building up the trust between us and clearing out some sort of old garbage between us. And and then I know why, but I won't go into it now, but I went on a social media search to get him, because he wasn't coming to me. So I was relying on all this external. I was relying on everything external to get hold of my brother. and I was really fighting, and I was trying to control everything, and I was pushing to get hold of him. And like after 6 months of a social media search, which went, all over the world, obviously he didn't appear. And that's like when I hit complete rock bottom, because I'd actually really faced my grief and had my dark night of the soul then. And yeah, everything that had been hidden came up to the top, and I literally didn't know what to do anymore. I thought I was going mad. I was hearing voices. It's really chaotic. And then I just knew I had to surrender this. I had to surrender finding Christian, because I couldn't do it anymore. I had to surrender I had a belief at that point of like God or source, or I didn't know really what to call it, just the universe. And I did another little ritual where I made my intention to still find Christian, but I didn't know how to do it. And I just handed it over to the universe. And to cut a very long story short again.
I have to tell you that we have to close out. We have to close out. So basically what you're saying is that you did make contact with Christian, but you did it with yourself. You and Christian made contact. And contact with him. And what I'd like to do is, when we're sharing this story on social media, I'd like to, maybe have you on the social media platform is finish the story maybe in a text, that you made contact, or how other people can talk to you and find out more about it. Where would they find you on your social media site?
Probably the best thing is to go to my website, which is hannahvelton.online, and then all the social media links are there. But yeah, it's healing grief is all about inside. It's all about an inside work, and it's a process, and it's a long process, and it's basically, grief allows you, you see what's missing in you when you have this grief. And as a grief healer now, that's what I work with now, is people healing themselves and making that connection with spirit and working through their grief together. And I'm
so glad that you're doing this work. And I'm going to have to close out. I'm sorry, okay, because we have our next guest. We have to go on break. Thank you so much, Hannah Velton. And please, share this message out so that it goes to the right people that need to hear this message. The bottom line is that you made peace with your grief, and that your brother brought you home to you. And it's a beautiful story. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay. Thanks, Kornelia.
Thank you.
Tune into 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce every first and third Tuesday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. Join Susan and her guests as they share the stories that shift our souls about radical transformations, courageous breakthroughs, and life lessons. 3 Things I've Learned with Susan Dolce. For more information, go to transformationtalkradio.com or visit Susan's website at susandolce.com.
Hi, I'm Laura Goldstein, and here's a Coffee with the Universe tip. Let me ask you, how do you start your day? Do you wake up anxious and on edge, already feeling the pressure of your giant to-do list? Or do you wake up feeling calm, collected, and excited to start your day? Here's the little secret. How you start your day sets the tone and foundation for the rest of your day. A stressed morning creates a stressed, just reacting to everything day. A calm and connected to self morning leads to aligned and confident choices that help you reach your goals. So take a good look at your morning routine. What can you do to set up a healthy foundation for your day? To get some ideas and a sneak peek into my own Coffee with the Universe morning routine, go to www.coffeewiththeuniverse.net.
Tune in to the show Heart Change Consciousness with me, Dr. Trish DeRocher, as stories of inspired activism come to life. Listening to conversations with your favorite authors, change makers, and many more who practice inspired spiritual activism and transform vulnerabilities into sources of strength. Let's be inspired together through my show, Heart Change Consciousness, on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Are you tired of being bloated and nauseous? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know eating unhealthy foods eventually leads to an unhealthy digestive system? Did you know eating the most healthy, nutritious food doesn't necessarily result in a healthy body? The stomach must be healthy in order to properly digest, metabolize, and utilize even the best of nutrition. Without proper digestion from the stomach through the intestinal tract, the nutritious value is not absorbed, and the improperly digested food can be more toxic to your body than helpful. You can be doing all the right things and getting all the wrong results. In fact, other organs may also be interfering with your stomach's ability to digest. With CRA, we are able to determine the specific cause of the digestive issue and use the proper nutrition to correct the imbalance. Contact us today for your appointment at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. Or visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to take us straight to our next guest, Naomi Lufkin. She's a licensed counselor, and she just launched a full-time psychotherapy practice online. She's got tons and tons and tons of experience. She helps and empowers women in midlife. And so welcome to the show today, Naomi.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Now, it's great that you use this time period right now, because I know you had an online practice. That you had a practice out there that you closed, and now you're strictly online. Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful that you use 2020 as the opportunity to launch your business, online.
Yes.
A lot of women found themselves in that, pivoting, and you did that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
For that, and being a role model and a leader for women out there in midlife that are sitting on the fence, that are going, my job, I don't know about it anymore. I want to do this. And so, right. And this is what you do, empowering women.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I chose midlife, particularly in midlife women, because I went back to school in midlife to get a master's degree in counseling. So that was a pivotal time in my life in terms of closing a corporate gift basket business and then wondering what my next steps are. And after deep reflection and taking an empowerment seminar, it brought me to the decision to go back to school, pondering exactly what will I study. And one morning, I just opened up a local newspaper with an ad for a private college in my town with the bullet points for their master's programs, and counseling was one of the bullets. And it jumped right out at me, and voila, that's what I chose to study.
Yeah, so you chose to study a mastery program, which means that you're also, mastering this in your own life and have mastered this over through whatever you were experiencing. And now you're helping other women go through a level of mastery in their life too, with the work that you're doing. And that must be really rewarding.
It is very rewarding. It's what I recently did a YouTube video about going back and why I chose this profession. And I say that I reached out to a counselor in my earlier 30s when I had some family of origin issues to address. And that was profound for me. And fast forward to 15 or so years later, because it made such a difference in my life, I knew that was the type of person I was, to help others. I helped others with gift basket needs. So I went from helping others with gift basket needs to their mental health needs. And yes, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I had 4 older siblings. I was the youngest of 5. My parents had me late in life. It was very interesting, shall we say. So yes, it's very empowering every single day For years, I sat across from clients, and now I sit across from clients via video, just like we're doing today, and helping them look at themselves in authentic ways. So often we see ourselves through our parents' eyes, how we grew up, what the messages were that we received. And those messages are definitely distorted, so many of them. And I try to reflect back what I truthfully see with clients. And that was done for me on the other side. I knew how precious and how much that meant to me. And at that point, after deep reflection, I thought that would be authentically me. And I would be embracing who I am to the core.
Yeah, and this whole thing that you're doing now online, the internet and, the way that we're doing business online, internet is going to be, the best game in town, and having a space where you can work with people. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible. That's one of the reasons why I too have set up my life to be location freedom, because freedom is very important to me. So being able to be online, no matter where you are, and that you can still be of service in this way. And that's why, creating this show, bringing on people like you that share this message with other women that might hear it and say, I'm in this space right now. I need this service. I need this help. You mentioned something about the YouTube video that you recently made. And I think you did mention this to me even when we were texting last night or something, right? Mm-hmm. So what is the YouTube, because what I'd like to do when we're promoting this show out, mm-hmm. in the show description, when we're doing it on Facebook or social media, let's also put your YouTube link underneath it also, so that people right away have that video that you're talking about. And what is it, your channel, your YouTube channel, and what exactly, give us the name?
I believe,
Is it your name, Naomi?
It probably is Naomi Lufkin. It's
probably your brand. If it's not, then people can contact you. Where do they contact you? On social media, Facebook or Instagram, or?
They can always send me an email. I could give, I have a Facebook business page. I am on Instagram, and I have a website.
Oh, good. So what is your Facebook handle? Is it Naomi Lufkin, or?
It's Lufkin Transformational Counseling. That's the name of my website as well, and the name of my practice. Lufkin, which is my last name, transformationalcounseling.com. So that would be the website and my Facebook business page.
Yeah, because it'll be great that if we could put the YouTube link with this story so that you can put both of them together, right? So What inspired you to come on today? What did you want to make sure that you said to whoever's listening right now that needs you and that is interested in what you have to say? What is it that you want to say to women?
What I'd like anybody and everybody that's listening is to really take some time for deep reflection, to sit down and think about what are their next steps, because I'm not so special. I wish I was. But I too, you, the listening audience, can make changes in your life going forward. It takes determination. It takes deep reflection. It takes knowing who you are and believing in yourself. And that's the thing with me, is I believe in everybody being able to empower themselves to choose whatever it is that will make sense. I went back to school to study counseling. It could be someone learning how to play the piano. It could be someone to get an undergraduate degree in psychology. Whatever it is, that it's so vital to believe in yourself, especially in these challenging times. And believe me, I grew up in a way where there were loads of negative messages. So from my heart and soul, I love to tell people you can do it. You can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. And I definitely hope for everyone listening to make those changes now. It's possible.
Yeah. And that's beautiful, because I believe that too, that sometimes even if you don't believe in yourself, but having a coach, having a mentor, having a counselor, having someone that believes in you until you move up into that space, and then you start believing in yourself too. And so it's beautiful what you're doing. It's beautiful work what you're doing right now, because really these are pivotal times to make all of the changes that we came here to make, and to live our authentic selves and be true to what's our heart's desires.
Exactly.
Right.
And what I also say is pay attention to the clues. When I look back, when I entered undergraduate school, my husband reminded me that I was studying business management, but asked everybody to write into me about their problems. That was a big disconnect. So obviously that was authentically me at 18, but I never really caught on to that message until later on. And thank God I did.
Thank God you did. Well, thank God you came to the show today. It's a wonderful pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the world, empowering women. And we will definitely be in touch and follow each other on social media so that we can share this message out. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's wonderful. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Carrie Kadambi, and this is your Spirited Exchange moment. Have you been searching everywhere for answers? Do you long for wise guidance to lovingly direct you? Guess what? You have your very own divine spirit guides in the highest light, available 24/7, just waiting to help you live your best life. Call in your spirit guidance on a daily basis to help you make important decisions. All you have to do is ask, with a sense of openness, curiosity, and willingness to be divinely guided. Throughout your day, be open to notice what shows up for you. A spoken phrase, a book, a message from a song, or simply a knowing. And always offer gratitude for that loving guidance, and don't forget to put it into action. Join me on Transformation Talk Radio for my show, A Spirited Exchange. For more information about me, visit thedivineguidancegift.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm the host of Nothing But Now, Mindful Living with Dr. Mary Angela McGuire on Transformation Talk Radio. I share ideas, insights, and tools you can use to release yourself from fearful and negative thinking and live from a place of clarity and confidence. Please join me in each show where we challenge ourselves to change together. Please go to my website, McGuireLifeCoach.com. That's McGuireLifeCoach.com. See you next time.
Are you tired of being bloated and nauseous? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know eating unhealthy foods eventually leads to an unhealthy digestive system? Did you know eating the most healthy, nutritious food doesn't necessarily result in a healthy body? The stomach must be healthy in order to properly digest, metabolize, and utilize even the best of nutrition. Without proper digestion from the stomach through the intestinal tract, the nutritious value is not absorbed, and the improperly digested food can be more toxic to your body than helpful. You can be doing all the right things and getting all the wrong results. In fact, other organs may also be interfering with your stomach's ability to digest. With CRA, we are able to determine the specific cause of the digestive issue and use the proper nutrition to correct the imbalance. Contact us today for your appointment at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. Or visit us at MaryJaneMack.com.
My next guest is Teresa Turk, and she is going to talk to us about how to go from overwhelm into how to let go of overwhelm. And I know there's so many people right now that are feeling overwhelmed. They're feeling stuck. They're not sure which steps to take and what to do because there's so many things to do and they're overwhelmed. Well, Teresa is a life coach. She's a spiritual life coach, and she's also a ritual queen, because we had a little conversation on Instagram this morning, and I love ritual. And she's an aromatherapist. obviously she's an entrepreneur, and she's here to empower women to get out of overwhelm. Thank you so much for coming on, Teresa. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Kornelia. I'm thrilled to be here today and to join you and share my message with all your listeners.
Wonderful. So what is the core message that you want to share to those women that are listening today that are needing to hear this message?
Yeah, absolutely. So my main message for women out there, and I primarily work with moms, but it's to, one, not let your background, your upbringing, and your circumstances define who you are. To really dig deep within, discover what your true core values and beliefs are, and live your life according to that. And the other thing that is really important to me is so many moms get caught up in their role of motherhood that they lose themselves. They lose any identity they had outside of that role. So it's really important to remember that you were a woman, you were a person, you were a human prior to taking on that gigantic responsibility of bringing other humans into this world. And as important of work as that is, it's also equally important to stay connected to who you are outside of being a mom.
Yeah, that's really a powerful message, because that's going to basically, what that's going to do when they work with you is it's going to prevent a midlife crisis when, the children leave and then there's an empty nest and then you have no idea who you are.
100%.
Right?
So I hit that. Yeah. So my kids are 23 and 18. And a few years ago, I kind of hit the wall of, wow, they don't really need me anymore. What do I do now? I have no idea who I am without them.
Okay, so that's what spurred this. This is what got you into passion, because you did this for yourself and now you're giving it back to others.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%. Yeah. Most of my life, I would say I probably suffered from some level of depression and anxiety, coming from a childhood of chaos and addiction and dealing with that. And I carried the people-pleasing mentality with me into my adulthood and brought that into my role as a mom and a wife, and through all of that, trying to be, what I felt everybody needed me or wanted me to be, I kind of gave up really the core of who I was, and I lost it. And so probably about 4 years ago, I hit a wall of massive depression and couldn't figure out why, right? You look from the outside looking in, I'm happily married. I have 2 healthy kids. We have this great life. So why in the world would I have any sort of depression? And it was basically just never dealing with anything and shoving it all deep down, right? We're really good at that. We don't let anything come to the surface, and we shove deep and keep trucking along, and it all caught up with me, adding all of that to the fact that I hit that point of my kids are older. My oldest one was moving out, and my youngest one was, that mid-teen of not wanting anything to do with their mom anymore. And so that was kind of like the last little thing thrown into the volcano before it erupted.
Yeah.
And all of that is what led me to this point, though. I'm eternally grateful for the fact that it happened, because it led me to doing all of the work and seeking the professional help, and then getting a coach of my own, and finding my spiritual path, and then finding my soul's purpose, which is to help other women who, are struggling and overwhelmed and not knowing, what steps to take to pull themselves out.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that your niche, that you're focusing on moms. And I like how you talk about it with the overwhelm, because like I said, you are a prevention strategist also, a spiritual life coach, prevention, because you're helping them along the way. Because one of the things is we don't all need to wait until we get this massive wake-up call before we change things, right? And it's like, wow, it's you're already feeling something. Like you said, you were feeling that depression that was already there, but you just hadn't dealt with it yet. And what you're doing now is you're helping women to, prevent that so that they can be happy along the way, instead of coming to a point later and going, who am I? Why am I here? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. My goal is for other women not to carry it around for decades like I did.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. Well, I know that you are a ritual queen, which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Tell us about one of your rituals. What's one of your rituals?
Yeah. So, and real quick, a ritual to a lot of people sounds a little too like woo-woo, like they're not quite sure, right? But in reality, a ritual is a routine that you are doing with intention.
Ooh, good.
Right? So any morning routine that you do, and the most important one to me and what got me going was a morning ritual. And it can look different for everybody, but mine is gratitude, meditation, journaling, and movement. That's what I do, in the mornings. That's my routine. And what makes it a ritual for me is the intention and the mindfulness that I put behind it. So every morning when I wake up, my intention is different every day, but I always tell people who are starting out and not quite sure how to even set an intention for their day, you can't go wrong with love. Right? So like if you wake up and you're like, okay, all I want today is to find more love for myself and for those around me. That is my intention for the day. And then you go through your routine with that intention and you do it day after day. That becomes your ritual because you're doing it with a purpose.
Yes. And then you are empowered. It empowers you because I can feel, like I said, I'm a ritual lover too, but I love how you brought it into practical form. It doesn't have to be per se a spiritual ritual. Yes. It can be anything. And exactly. This is really great that you clarified that and made the distinction there. So let's tell the audience where they can find you on social media. Where can people know more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at The Ritual Queen. I'm on Facebook. I have a group, Ritual Queens. My website is theritualqueen.com. And the website is the main point. It'll kind of point you to everything. It'll point you to my Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, podcast. It's kind of like an all-in-one. But for everybody that's on Instagram, I'm very easy to find. You type in The Ritual Queen and I kind of pop up everywhere.
Oh, good. I heard you say podcast. Do you have a podcast also?
I do. Yep. And it's the Ritual Queen podcast.
That's excellent branding. Excellent branding. You go, girl, Ritual. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm glad that you came on today. Thank you so much for coming on and inspiring the audience with ritual, and then also with, hey, they don't need to wait until there's a crisis that happens. Yeah. That they can begin now, and just by the story that you told, that's very helpful.
Thank you.
I'm sure. Teresa Turk, you're wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel from intuitionwisdom.com.
And I'm Dr. Pat. We've got something super special. What a generous gift. Wow.
It's time to discover who you really are, and we're offering a free intuitive reading on our website at intuitionwisdom.com. All you got to do is take the step to become one with the universe, and the life purpose is that bridge. So please come to our website, intuitionwisdom.com.
That's intuitionwisdom.com. Life purpose unlocks abundance.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel from intuitionwisdom.com.
And I'm Dr. Pat. We've got something super special. What a generous gift. Wow.
It's time to discover who you really are, and we're offering a free intuitive reading on our website at intuitionwisdom.com. All you got to do is take the step to become one with the universe, and the life purpose is that bridge. So please come to our website, intuitionwisdom.com.
That's intuitionwisdom.com. Life purpose unlocks abundance.
All righty, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and for tuning into the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I love doing this show so much, and I love talking to these amazing entrepreneurs that are doing extraordinary things in the world, helping everyone who is ready to hear this call. I'm so excited to introduce you to our next guest. So our next guest is an entrepreneur. She's a teacher. She's a coach. She developed her own coaching business. We're going to find out a lot more about her, but I really like this part of her bio. Her name is Sarah Victoria Leopard, and how she has survived was through poetry and doodles, and how she uses this to help others. She's been building a coaching business online, and she continues to use art as therapy. She encourages her clients to see themselves as a perfect work in progress. And she says that we're never done, but we're always enough. I love that. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kornelia. It's so good to be here.
It's good to have you. And like you and I were talking in the green room, here you are from Ireland.
I know.
You're in Ireland, and here we are in the United States, and it's just amazing that our internet, we can connect the way that we connect, and it's wonderful that you said yes and to have you here. So I know that you have an amazing story to tell. Do tell our audience today what made you say yes. What is your core message? What was the vision that brought you here?
Okay, thanks, Kornelia. Well, my vision, since I was a child, I just visualized myself in my head all the time, talking to people and being interviewed. And sometimes I'd be walking down the road with my dog or whatever, and I'd be thinking, but who would interview me, and why would they interview me? What would they want to hear that I have to say? And you have to understand, Kornelia, when I was a child, I couldn't speak. I was so shy, and I always said the wrong thing, or I was always told off every time I opened my mouth. So I didn't really say much at all. But yeah, here I am. So first of all, this is like a dream come true, a childhood dream. And I have to say that over the last maybe eight years, I've had more and more and more dreams come true. And I can't even tell you, but I'm going to try and, in the short time that we have, express just how much this means to me and where it's coming from. So picture this, 2012, I got evicted from my house 1 month before the event that myself and my ex-partner ran together. It was the most stressful month of the year. Then my cat died under mysterious circumstances. Heartbroken. So I was super lucky. I found a place to live, but he hated it there. So it ended up really badly for him. Then I found out I was pregnant, Kornelia. So I said, well, you know what? Maybe I'm trying to justify in my head like the death of my cat, who was like my baby. But then I lost the baby. then the next year, I'm laughing about it now, but it's just because 2012, I think for so many of us, we had it all built up as, you know, the next step and the age of Aquarius and everything's going to be better. But it was actually terrible. 2008, we had the huge, depression, or I don't know, I call it the bubble that burst. And I had walked away from a really good job after I had walked away from 2 really good jobs to go, and I just knew I wanted to run away with the circus. I didn't even know what that meant. I kept having dreams about this. And this ended up being this festival, this rock and roll festival, which completely changed my life, but so dramatically that even though I wanted it, there were times when I was like, why do I have to go through so much loss? But that time, even before that, I was dreaming about running my own online business, coaching. I used to look at all these amazing coaches on the internet when I couldn't sleep, and I'd be talking to some of them, and I'd be saying, this is me. Like, I really feel like this is part of my life path, you know? And I used to listen to Louise Hay, and I used to listen to Abraham, and I'd be like, I can't get my head around it, really. It's not very Irish. People are starting to really develop in Ireland now. You're getting more people here who are really wanting to expand their lives, and through that festival as well, I met a lot of positive thinking people, and people who, you know, like celebrated each other and wanted to help each other. Ireland has always been known as a land of begrudgers. I don't know if you know what that means. It's not very fair.
Begrudgers?
Yeah, begrudgers are people who don't like to see their neighbours doing too well. So you're up against a lot, and it's a small country, so everyone knows everyone. And if you get a small bit famous in Ireland, you wouldn't want to get too up yourself now, to use the vernacular. Like,
that's amazing. So I think you have that going, the begrudgery in Ireland, and you also have the fact that you're a woman.
Exactly. Now, I never really used that. I actually had an interview the other day, and a girl was asking me about being a woman in the music and art scene here. And I've been involved in women and Spotlight on Women events, and they feel fake to me. And there's a lot of competition even between the women. And maybe that's kind of your point, because all across the world, women compete against each other for men, for the best this, you know, like, I just think that there's enough for everybody. If you listen to Abraham for long enough, you realize there is enough for everybody. We don't need to compete. We just need to be grateful for what we have and try to, sometimes you don't even need to focus on the things that you want to come true, because they'll happen in the background because you believe in them, as long as you're just focused on doing what you can now and staying happy and staying positive in your mind. And that's not to say you don't have bad thoughts. That's a whole different story we could get into for like hours, but we won't. So basically what my vision was for today was to hopefully inspire people to realize that even when it seems like all the chips are stacked against you, you can actually still break through. And at the time when you maybe feel like, you know, that lovely expression, the darkest hour is before the dawn. Have you heard that one before?
Oh, yeah.
It's so true. If you stay up all night and you're tearing your hair out and you're crying your eyes out and you can't even see, there's like pinholes in your face. You're like blotchy and everything. And you're like, oh my God, I want to make tea, but there's no tea bags left and I can't get credit on my phone and everything's just like, and next thing you look out the window or you see in a crack in the curtain and the sun is coming up, and like here you mightn't see the sun much, but you'll see a little pale blue like my hand in the light. And that just gives you enough strength to keep going. And then 2 days later, you win the lottery, or you meet the man of your dreams, or you get called by somebody and asked, would you like to speak to a nation across the pond, like, you know, as we say here, and tell people about your experience in life. And like, then you realize another thing off my bucket list, you know, I get to speak to people on a greater platform than just one-to-one, and another dream came true. So don't give up. I think that's my thing. And with my coaching, like my tagline on Facebook is realize your power with Sarah. Like I find this even with groups of girlfriends here is I feel the competition. When you're highly sensitive, you can't help it. You know what's going on the minute you walk into a room, and it can be so confusing. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people feeling it and they just don't realize what's going on. So it's just to let people know that there's somebody else they can talk to. You know, I mean, I know there are loads, hundreds, millions, thousands of people doing the work that I do. And that's brilliant because we all need to do it together. Like I think you were saying earlier, as many of us as possible to try and just raise the vibration and help people to see a better way, and fingers crossed, like, you know, go towards a more peaceful future for all of us. But everyone doesn't work for everyone. So hopefully there'll be a few people maybe who, and that's such a real Irish thing as well, like, you know, I'm kind of limiting myself already in my vocabulary. Hopefully there'll be lots of millions of people who see this or hear about it and think, I really like that one, you know, she's a bit quirky, or, you know, this, I don't know why, but I like her vibe, you know. And we can move, like at the start when I was healing first from all of the losses, and then when you start digging into your losses, you don't even want to go back in time, but you do. You have to forgive your mother, your father, yourself. And I realize there's a lot more to this, you know, there's ancestral stuff. And at that time, I used to listen to Louise Hay almost religiously. And I'd be looking in the mirror, like crying my eyes out, going, my mother is like a little child in my heart. And it still gets me today, like thinking about my little dad as a little baby or a 4-year-old boy in my heart in here. And then after a while, you realize, well, you know, I think maybe I've got everything I can get from Louise for now. I mean, there might be still another 3 a.m. where I'm bawling my eyes out and I need that little hug that she gives and nobody else can give like her. And then you move on, you find like, oh, I'm listening to Deepak Chopra this week, or I'm listening to some random Indian chanting that I don't even know who this guy is, but it's working for me. Like for ages, I was working with the Hare Krishnas in Dublin, and I used to love chanting with them. They got me through like a really dark winter, ended up like teaching yoga in their temple, and it was just really synchronistic for me at the time. So hopefully somebody or somebodies will see this and think, well, maybe if I talk to Sarah, I might get something from this. And so I'll be open to people like hitting me up, as you guys say, and just saying, you know, maybe we can talk things through and I can help them, or they can be inspired by even just seeing this and trying a different way. Like it doesn't have to be my way, but the point is it's your way. It's your unique way. And as long as you keep trying, you're going to find your way, I think. So that would be my dream and my vision for today, that hopefully it just reaches people and gives them a little bit of support.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You know, when you said there's enough for everyone, you said a lot of things, absolutely said a lot of things that I resonate with. But when you said there's enough for everyone, to really truly believe that, that's a key piece right there. And that we're all here to support each other, to love each other, and to be the change that we want to see.
Yeah.
In the world, right?
So true.
And right away, you know, when I see you, you know, you said, oh, she's a little bit quirky and everything, but I definitely feel like I could come over to your house, knock on the door, and
there's the kettle.
Yeah, I feel like I could sit at your kitchen table, you know, and you're just delightful. And there's such a beautiful, welcoming energy about you. And I'm so glad that you stayed true to your dream and to your vision. And, you know, there's a lot of good things that you said in your story. So let's tell the audience again how they can get in contact with you on social media.
Okay. You want me to tell them?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you can look me up on Facebook, and as Kornelia was saying, it's Sarah Victoria Leopard, but I also have a business page, which is Sarah O'Connor, and the tagline for that is Realize Your Power with Sarah. Okay, so you can also find me on Instagram if you prefer Instagram. I know a lot of people do, and I love Instagram too, but I've been using Facebook for years, so I'll stick with both of them. And on Instagram, I'm baroness.sarah.leopard. I just love leopards, and I love having different names. It doesn't matter. Victoria is actually also a queen. At a dark time, I was like, call yourself all of the high names so you'll remember that you're royalty. We're all royalty. We're all sovereign beings. So that's how you get in touch with me, through social media, on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. I love it. And I love the queen, and I love the leopard. I mean, it's perfect, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. I love that. Now let's wrap it up we have like, let's see, how much time do we have? We have like a minute left. What do you want to say? What do you want to say this last minute?
Okay. So what I'd really like to see is people realizing their own power and not being afraid to make a big change, especially my personal passion is peace. Like, I don't know if you know the French Prime Minister. He was trying to push for a global ceasefire. It didn't happen, but it was to try and help all the governments work together to deal with COVID. It was baby steps, but it's a good step in the right direction. And I'd love if more people could get on board with that kind of idea and just try and help each other. There's still so much poverty and hunger in the world. But one step at a time. Find the peace in here, and the pieces of the rest just come together, don't they?
Yes, they do. Sarah, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for being on today. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show and spreading the news with everyone so that it may make a ripple effect and that we can finally have peace on earth. All right,
please, goodness.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kornelia.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.